if you think globally about how people are able to access wild ground, or when there is some, I mean, like in Holland, there is none. And even if a lot of nature in Sweden is cultivated, I know from when you talk to foreigners about this fantastic allemansrätt we have, everyone's right to walk and picking all these berries and mushrooms and things. I mean, to most people that sounds like paradise. And I think if somehow by a political decision in Sweden one suddenly would say, we will take this away, then I think we would realize how much it means for how many people. Because something that you've had around you always, we take it for so granted, and it's just there. And we don't go out into the forest to destroy something. We go out to enjoy quietness, or we go in mushroom time. I mean, we're happy to have one meal out of 4 hours of work. I mean, this is a feeling, I think, that is so such a basic feeling in perhaps it's a Scandinavian thing. I don't even know how it is in Finland and Norway, but from here I know that it's you never talk about money, or it doesn't matter that it belongs to a big farmer or a small farmer, because you're allowed to walk there. And so in some extents we have a situation where we have open source, as far as I have understood the expression of open source, that you're just allowed to use it, and you can walk there, and you don't have to own it to enjoy it. And so I think the problem for us, and perhaps for the coming generations, will be different, because children are not taught to use it. They spend so much time in front of the computer, and perhaps their parents, well, they come there sometimes, but they are so busy with work and everyday life. And there's a book written in America last year. It's called "Lost Child in the Woods," that is concerning about children that are not having the possibility to play out in nature. And as far as I understood from this book, it's becoming a real problem. And one should think in the United States, I mean, so much land, so much nature around, but where this the culture that's around children, that if we got more aware of where that will lead to, I mean, the problem is not so big now, but will probably with 1 or 2 more generations become a very big problem, even in our countries where we have a lot of natural ground to be used. And both of you who has been in Helsinki for studies, I know in the art department of the university there is one institution called Art-Based Environmental Education. You know about it? And I met a Dutchman called Jan van Boekel, who is doing his PhD there at the moment, and who lives in Amsterdam otherwise. And he has been working in Sweden in Västmanland for 6 years. And in all his projects, he's always talking about the possibilities of Sweden and Norway. And because of the unspoiled nature that people can do, they made an ice project up in Västmanland last 2 weeks. People just get pieces of ice from the lake there. And being in such a project and to I lose my words, uppleva,
experience.
To experience, to work with.
Perhaps for valuing nature, but at several times here,
the speakers have pointed to the fact that it's common to have a very strict divide between humans on the other side and nature on the other. And humans, so to speak, make nature unnatural by being in it, modifying it too much, and stuff like that. And an interesting thought, I think, is that nowadays when we have this global warming, that anyone says, okay, it's much due to our way of living, we seem to have influenced the whole of the world into its minuscule detail by living as we do. And some scientists have said, some thinkers in this subject have said, okay, we don't have any nature now. But still, there seems to be valuable things there to relate to, even though it's not pristine wilderness or nature, but something of the kind. How is your, how much participation in nature can you have without spoiling it?
Well, there is no space for human without nature. We live in the nature. And of course we create other surroundings that is maybe unnatural, but still we are a part of nature. I'm convinced it's like that. And I think the problem isn't that we exist in that surrounding, it's that we exploit it in a way. We have this urge for owning it. And actually that's the main theme of this open source and ownership, how to relate to not only land, also to ideas, to inventions, for example. Because if you do something that is useful and you use it only for yourself, it's not only selfish, it makes you very alone. And it's also a common good if you use it for several. And you can benefit from others' inventions. So of course, living in together, because that is what we are, in a real way, makes us richer in many ways. So I don't think that we contaminate the nature by existing, but by exploiting it too much.